Hey guys, let's talk about thinning hair. In my mind, when I think of thinning hair, I think of three categories. I mean, there's a lot of little side rabbits and trails we could chase, but just to start with, you're either thinning on the ends of the hair, I mean, if your hair is about this length, or there's something going on in the mid-strand, or it's at the scalp for a few different reasons. So let's take it from the top to the bottom. If you're thinning at the scalp, it could be that you just weren't born with that many hairs per square inch. Or, like some of us, we're getting a little older and there's a little bit less hairs per square inch because as we get older, we just don't grow back as much as we shed over time, and that's a fact. And then when it comes to that mid-strand, it could be chemical damage or bad haircuts. So what happens with that mid-strand is that we're getting, we might be putting our own color or bleach on and we're doing it incorrectly, and then that hair's getting damaged and breaking off prematurely and you got thin hair, and there's different solutions for that than the first one. And let's go to that third one, which would be the ends. And so the ends can be one of two things. Again, it could be chemical damage, you coloring or bleaching your own hair, or the hairdresser is doing it incorrectly. That does happen. And then the other one for those ends, it can also be partly from hair shedding. As we get older, or stress, or diet, our hair sheds at different rates. And so if you're shedding faster because you're stressed out or possibly getting a little bit older, then not all the hairs are growing back at the same rate. We shed about 100 hairs a day is what the books say on average. I've never counted them. And as we get older, we're not growing back 100, we're growing back less and less and less as our health is not as good, or we do go through something, some kind of sickness in our life, then the hair won't grow back as fast. But if it's just any of those, you've got less hairs growing back, so they just don't make it down to the ends. So a hair on your head may grow for 4 or 5 years, but some of them don't, and then those ends would be thinner. So let's talk about a few solutions real quick. If it's thinner at the ends or the mid-strand, but that scalp is still pretty thick, then you can generally get thicker hair extensions. Now, I know some people think right away, put a wig on. A wig is definitely an option, but the very first thing I would try, the least invasive, is some sort of hair extensions, whether it be a tape-in extension, a wefted extension, individual strands. They all kind of thicken the hair up in the mid-strand to ends, but they can't be put above a certain spot on the head because then the hair has to be able to hide those bonds and they might show. So when you get into the mid-strand to the scalp and you've got a thin scalp, now you do have to go to something that kind of covers the top. And that's when we bring in either a clip-in type of topper, a beaded topper, or even a wig or a hairpiece in some cases. So there's so many to think about and choose from. I'd love to help you guys out in the comments below. But just wanted to kind of give you my thoughts right from the beginning on thin hair, where it starts, and some of the simple little solutions you can do.